Thanks for being here, everybody. Today I am pleased to be here to announce a major milestone in our efforts to maintain the roadways in New Bedford. I'm also pleased to be here today dressed as I would hope to dress every day at work, which is in a golf shirt and jeans. This is fantastic, especially on a hot day like this. But on a hot day like this, it's easy to forget the harsh winter we had. We had one of the harshest winters on record. Here in New Bedford, we had some, and I don't suspect too many people forget it, but we had some 6.5 feet of snow on the ground. But what was remarkable about this winter were a few things. Lots of snow, a high volume of snow, snow in a very short period of time. Now, if you remember, it was kind of an odd winter. In the middle of January, we still had hardly had a snowflake, and then all of a sudden the snow started coming down and coming down and coming down. But the other big thing with this winter was just how cold it remained. Here in the southernmost part of New England, winters are usually marked by intermittent cold and then warm-ups. Because of the Gulf Stream, things tend to warm up and melt snow. So we usually don't have snow sitting around for a long period of time. But this winter was very different. It stayed cold, so the snow piled and piled and piled, and so many of you, this is sort of, as I said, sit here and say to the assembled media, this is sort of a reunion for all of us. We spent a lot of time together this winter talking about piles of snow and places where we plowed and the long work that our crews put in to clear the way and all the frustration associated with it. But what this winter left us with, and it's no surprise at all, were an awful lot of potholes. And in that way, New Bedford is not unique, but it wasn't surprising because of the conditions. Potholes are caused when water gets underneath the surface of the roadway and freezes, and the freezing, the water expands and creates cracks in the surface. And when there's a lot of water like we had this past year and a lot of freezing like we had this past year, those cavities, those holes underneath the roadway get bigger and bigger and bigger. And so we had, as soon as the snow melted, it laid bare lots and lots of potholes. And that's not news to anybody. It's certainly the case here in New Bedford, and certainly the case in every urban area in the Northeast. You know, the good news is we've been working it. We've been working it incessantly, right since the point at which the snow started to melt. We as a city decided we're going to get all over this. We got to get ahead of it, and you know what? We might not be able to fill every pothole immediately, but our citizens deserve the attention to this basic government service. If we are to have roadways that work well for residents and for businesses, we've got to get right on this, and so we did. And so through the leadership of Ron LaBelle, our Commissioner of the Department of Public Infrastructure, and his talented crew, and we'll introduce you to them in a second, we started filling potholes, one after another, and lined the streets, lined the cracks in the streets so that the roadways would not open up any further. We'd love to be able to repave every roadway in the city, but no city is in America, even even the biggest cities like Boston and others, are in no financial position to do that, nor does the state have the money to do that. What we do instead is we maintain, and we do it better here in New Bedford than anywhere else. So we are here today to announce a milestone in our efforts to get business done for the city, without excuses, without saying why we can't do it and why it's so tough. Today we are about to fill, since the snow melted this past late winter, our 10,000th pothole. Now that is, I will tell you, potholes usually don't make the front page of the newspaper, and potholes usually don't get people excited to watch late night TV news reports about them, but they are important. And there's an important point here. And that's this: New Bedford is about getting things done. My administration is about getting things done, and this is probably the most basic example of how we do this. To give you a little bit of perspective of this number, the city of Boston which has which has roadways 3 times as long as the city of New Bedford, has not filled as many potholes as the city of New Bedford. Far larger city in every respect, and they haven't kept up with this. And if you look around the Northeast, you'd be hard pressed to find another city that has gotten on the problem of potholes like we have. It just isn't. And I really want to take this opportunity not just to mark this milestone and emphasize our commitment to getting things done for the city, but also to recognize the hard work of DPI under Ron LaBelle's leadership, his crew, who's dedicated to this, who's been at it all the time, really, in the last several months. Felix Fernandez, who's our designated pothole guy, he's right there. He is, with the help of both Serge Haru and Jeff Correa, has been getting after this all day, every day, over the last several months. And Felix, I really want to just commend you for all of your hard work on this, and because it is, look, we usually don't call press conferences to mark the filling of a pothole, but this is really significant. It's really a testament about how this particular city understands its role as a steward of the physical assets of the place. New Bedford will remain competitive as a place to invest and as a place and an appealing place to live, because we provide some of the finest services of any city in the United States. We really do when you get right down to it. So I want to thank in particular Ron LaBelle for all of his hard work over every day and all day. And Ron usually gets to talk at press conferences about the opening of parks and other bigger things, but I think this sort of thing makes Ron as proud as anything. So Ron, thanks for everything that you do, and I'm glad I get to dress like you today. Come on up and say a few words.
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks, Mayor, and thanks for bringing this center stage. It's not something that typically would reach center stage, but a lot of people complain about road maintenance. We just don't have the funds. Rule of thumb for us is if we invested $10 million a year for 30 years, our roads would look great, and then we'd have to start all over again. So all we can afford to do is maintain roads. And, our roads aren't in perfect condition, but I would characterize them as safe. And that's the key, for the public. You can drive down a road and not hit a pothole and not get in an accident and not get hurt. And that's the key, and that's our goal. And as you can see, we've been very, very successful at that. And hats off to Felix and his crew. They've pretty much the last 5 months put their lives on hold. They've been working 6 and 7 days a week, 10 to 12 hours a day during the daylight hours here. So it's been a huge task. We've been very successful at it, and I'm very proud of our men. They've done a great job. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thanks, Ron. So, one final comment, and I'll take questions, if any, and then we'll go and fill that 10,000th pothole. So, understand that we're not done. I hate to break it to Felix who's here, but we're definitely not done. We're not stopping at 10,000. We're continuing on. There are many other potholes out there in the city, but we're going to get after it. Felix and his crew are going to get after it because that's what our residents are entitled to. So until it starts snowing again, until the snow piles everything over again, we're going to be at this. What I will tell folks is, if you have a pothole, let us know about it. Please tell us. The number you should call is DPI's number, which is 508-979-1550. So with all that, and I appreciate all the media coming out today. I know potholes aren't always the sexiest subject matter, but it's really important to our residents, and I think it is this event really, I think, typifies the kind of work that we do in New Bedford day in and day out. Anybody have any questions? Go ahead, Taylor.
How much does it cost to fill each pothole?
Good question. I'm not quite sure I could characterize it as per pothole, but we probably could do the math for you. But we spend probably about $40,000 a year on materials, and then the labor cost.
Is this year any higher than years before?
Yeah, this year's been a little bit extended, but we've been doing potholes like this for years now. The machine that you see behind us, we purchased about 6 years ago, and I can honestly say that except for the tough winter, we had a real tough winter. Maintaining roads in New England is not an easy task for anybody in my position. And it's a daily effort, it's a yearly effort. You're just constantly at it. It's constantly doing maintenance. This year's been tougher than past years. Past years, I could say if you called my office, we'd get it either today or tomorrow. Well, it's a little bit different this year. We might get it next week or the week after because we have so many. But again, the guys have been very successful. They've been very dedicated to the effort, and they're doing a great job.
So just to do the math quickly, so 40,000 divided by 10, so roughly $4 pothole material
Without their labor.
with the labor. So probably somewhere between $5 and $10, just to ballpark it per pothole, something like that. Anybody else? All right, let's go fill that pothole.
Are these real?
The best quality.
You mean they're fake?
Only a few dollars.
Only a few dollars.
Only a few dollars. Only a few dollars.
Only a few dollars.
It's not only a few dollars. Counterfeit goods take away jobs, and many are tied to violence and crimes, including child labor, drugs, and gangs. You have the power to stop it. Know the real cost. Don't buy counterfeits.